Hi there, thanks for joining me. Today we're doing a Zwift race. It's a Category D race, ZHQ Futureworks circuit race around the Champs-Élysées circuit in Paris. And as you can see here from the route, we have a little lump up to the top, and then it's pretty much flat the rest of the way. It's not an especially climby circuit. So we'll see how we go with this one. And just getting warmed up for this. And there's, I think, 11 other riders that end up in this race. Just quite looking forward to seeing how we get on. It should be a good race. Warmed up by doing a little bit of the Yorkshire Hills. And what I would say, though, is my legs were burning, absolutely burning, because last night I did an up the Zwift climb and I was in trouble. It took me about 90 minutes and it hurt. So the legs were still sore today, especially my knees. My knees were absolutely killing me. Anyway, here we go. We got about 15 seconds to go. My plan going into this, thinking basically we're going to end up in a sprint, and that's fine. So I'll just sit on, try and mark out any breaks that occur and try and get to the line, because I know I can pump out a lot. So here we go. Off the start, 600 watts. Starting at 3 seconds to go, just to make sure we get out to the front. Don't want to get clogged up behind anybody. So here we go off the front. Quite happy, sitting nice. Back down to 2.2, 2.5 watts a kilo, and here comes everyone else to catch up. I realise here that these guys are starting to put a little bit in, so we'll just up the tempo a little and make sure we stick with them. The front guy's never going to last. I know it's only 10k, but he's never going away. Anti-sandbagging's on as well, so if he carries on up there, he's going to get caught with the anti-sandbag. So at this point, I'm just happy to sit in the group that's forming. It's starting to pull away, so I realise that I need to just jump on the power a little bit, 400 watts, and bring everything together and sit there. And I'm happy, if you can sit in the group, sit in the draft, and put out 2.5 watts a kilo for the first maybe kilometre or so, and then it will die down. So the plan is just to mark out everything that looks like it might get away and to sit in the group, and we'll see how that works out. So there's Omal, a Turkish guy. He's on the front, perfectly happy, just sit there, no bother at all. So I had a look on Zwift Power before this race, and there were people that were better ranked than I was in terms of the rankings. I thought, top 3 I'd be pretty happy with on the podium. I would be reasonably satisfied with that. So I wasn't going out for the win. I just thought, if I can do this, getting the podium is good. So the Champs-Élysées, there's a long lead in before we get into the actual lap. So it's 1 lap sprint. This is a crit race. Cat D, although I could probably race Cat C for the short crits, but once you get over, say, 10, 15 kilometers, I don't have the power to do that. I don't have the stamina to keep it up. Certainly not at the moment, because I'm only now a week back on the bike after 7 weeks off with an MS flare-up. So yeah, I don't have that stamina built up anywhere near it yet. So still just sitting nice. It's really good. 2.1 watts a kilo. It's no problem at all. There is a couple of times during this I see a gap start to open up and think, I'm just going to have to push just a little bit to keep that, close that down and make sure nobody gets away. So Champs-Élysées, this is the big round bit at the end. And then we're going to go climb up a hill, around the Arc de Triomphe, descent back down, and then it's a flat run into the line. The only little bobble is that little underpass that we just went under, down and then up at about 6 or 7%. Really nothing to worry about. So still looking at the pack, not a great deal going down. I'm pretty happy with where I am. Just sit and pray, conserving energy. There's one guy just trying to get off the front, the Turkish guy, but I don't think it's a worry. What I do notice here, though, is that there is a little gap starting to open up behind the second guy in front of me. So put down a little bit of power and just make sure, 3.5 watts a kilo, and just make sure that doesn't go anywhere. Because I realise I need to be aware of anyone getting away, because in a race that's as short as this, if somebody gets away, they're probably going to stay away. There's probably not a lot I can do to bring them back. So I just need to be aware, close down the gaps, make sure I'm sitting in the draft, and make sure that nobody gets away. So I got the feather power up. That wasn't what I was looking for. There's only going to be 2 opportunities to grab a power up in this race. That was one of them. Expecting a sprint finish, so I really need the aero power up. There's the first person that's been caught with sandbagging. We go past them. I don't want to get stuck in behind them. The guy ahead of me has got a burrito, so I'm not getting any draft from him. That's finished now, so we can just tuck in. I hit the featherweight just because we're starting to go up the climb, but the gap is starting to open up. I don't like it. I need to be on top of these. I really need to stick with that bunch. So we'll close that gap down. Make sure that nobody gets away. We now start the ascent. I mean, it's 3%. I think it goes up to maybe 5 is as big as it gets. But I realise if you look up the road, I can see people starting to move away, and it doesn't look like they're coming back. The Turkish rider and the French rider both getting away up there. So at this point, I realise I need to go, because they're going to go and they're not going to come back. So we need to put the power down. I mean, it's not a full out. It's not a sprint. But if we need to sit at 4.5 watts a kilo, 400, 430, 440, those kind of watts to bring everybody back. So we can see we're starting to close them down now. And I realised at this point that if I'd let them go, they weren't going to come back, because they were already 7-8 seconds away. I realised that the French rider here, he's been done for sandbagging as well. So he goes straight out the back, and I realised I need to sit on Onal, the Turkish rider. Now he kicks again going up the hill, 5 watts per kilo. So I just kind of try and keep a steady rhythm, bring him back. We're out the saddle. We've gone through the power up marker, and we've got the aero. So that's great. So I'm still putting out around 4 watts a kilo to try and bring this guy back. If I bring him back, I realise I can sit on him until the end and not have to worry, and just have a 2-up sprint that I'm quite confident that I can win. So we've got him back. However, I've gone for the water bottle, and I realise here that if he's got another kick left, he's up the road and he's gone. I've burnt all the matches that I had to get here, so what I need is to sit on him now for 4 and a bit kilometres and try and recover, expecting a sprint. But if this guy's got any more kick left, I was done. I was toast. You can see on the screen there's 3 guys that have been done for sandbagging. But look at the times, though. I'm so glad that I picked up this move, because they're already 24, 25 seconds back. And I was right when I looked at it and said, if they go, they're out of here. So really glad that I picked it up and went with it. Looking at the power just sitting in his draft, he's putting out 2.5, 2.2 watts per kilo. We're sitting at 2.3 maybe. So you can see how much energy we're saving by just sitting in the draft. So on our way down the hill now. I still find it a little difficult to just sit straight behind somebody. I kind of end up sort of taking the lead sometimes, and I realise I have to back out. So try to practice just sitting in behind and just stealing all the draft and keeping it all for myself, and just sheltered away. So we're about just over 3.5 kilometers to go. Still feeling quite good. This is the sort of thing I mean. I've just sort of pulled out front. I don't want to be here. So just ease off the power a little bit, let him back in, tuck in, take the draft. And the goal now, 24 seconds ahead of the chasing pack. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. And then it's back to 40, 42, 40 plus seconds. So I'm thinking here I've probably got top 2 place sealed up, as long as he doesn't try and play any games, if he doesn't try and force me onto the front, and we end up slowing each other down and everyone else comes back. That's the worry. But it doesn't seem like he's doing that. I still worry at this point if he's got another kick left in him, because if he does, then I might be able to catch him, but I won't be able to sprint afterwards. I just didn't have that in the legs today. So as it is, still sit behind, happy days, no bother. He's still putting out over 3 watts per kilo, whereas I can sit here at 2 watts per kilo. It's saving so much energy. I'm still going down the hill, and I'm just watching him, just sticking with him, keeping happy, tucked up in the draft, no bother at all. So it's all good. It's almost flat. For all intents and purposes, it's flat. Now here, I notice, and I go, this guy's just been busted for sandbagging. The green triangle, he's knocked off the sandbag detector. So the only thing I can think of now is I need to go. If I can put enough time into him, then the gap will be big enough for me to just go. And it starts to open up because he's had his power restricted with the sandbag meter. So we're at 2 seconds and going hard as I can, reasonably, without completely blowing up. Heart rate's 184. Power graph shows that, we had a quick spike to get away from him, break the draft, and then we can just sort of try and settle in and put some time into him. It's already up to 5 seconds. So the worry again is if I don't know how long the power throttling lasts. So I don't know if it only lasts 10 seconds, then he's going to bring me back. And it's a wasted effort on my part. But then I can just sit behind him and take the sprint. Or at least try and take the sprint. So now the gap's almost 10 seconds as we come around the corner here and start to head back down. There we go, down the hill, under the underpass. and then back up the other side. The gap's still, it's only about 12 seconds, but we got 25 seconds to the rest of the pack. So there we go, 7% out the saddle. And I'm just worrying now, is he going to start coming back? Because now I don't get to sit in the draft. I just have to push. 1.2 kilometers to go. I mean, it doesn't look like he's coming back because he's still got the power throttling in. I feel really bad for him, actually, because this power throttling lasts a long time. It's not just a quick hit to remind you, by the way, you're putting out way too much for this category of racing. Like, it's hard. He's been caught by the peloton now, and he's just going to drop out the back of that, and it'll be away. So look across, I realise now 20 seconds gap to the peloton, and they've got 1, 2, 3 riders, possibly 5 riders, and depending on when the Turkish guys throttling drops off, 6 riders. They could still bring me back. I've got to go 700 meters. I got to put down what I can. Power graphs in the red. I was really hoping to just put out 10 seconds of big power in a sprint and finish it, but it doesn't look like it's going to be that way. The gap's now 19 seconds. They're just starting to come back with about 400 meters to go. Can I hold it? 20 seconds, the gap's still about the same. I realise I've looked at their power. They're doing about 2.8. So as long as I can match that, or at least stay somewhat close to that, then I think it'll be okay. So we get 200 meters to go now. The finish line's in sight. The gap's still 20 seconds. Quickly throw on the aero boost. It's not going to have the desired sprinting effect. But they are starting to come back. They're not going to make it though. 50 meters to go. And up to the line to take a breakaway win. Fantastic. Ends up they have a sprint between themselves for the podium positions. But we've got this. We have taken it. It's the second win in a row. Second one since I joined the Zwift Scotland team. So I presume they're a good luck charm at this point. But I was really happy for that. Really happy I remembered to turn the recording on as well. My first race win, I completely forgot to turn the recording on. And I ended up just having to do a quick video saying, happy days, I won. Yay for me. So my plan is going forward. I don't know. It kind of depends on how racing goes. The only one I've got going ahead is Tuesday evening with the Zwift Scotland team. We have a race then. So hopefully be streaming that. I might try and stream a little bit more. If I'd streamed my Alp attempt last night, you would have just laughed at me. You can actually see the point in the paragraph where I blew up. Anyway, it's been great to have you along for the ride. Thanks for joining me for this victory, and I will see you again next time. Take care.